Hi, everybody. Welcome to Am I the Asshole podcast, a very special episode. I'm joined by comedian, fellow Brooklynites, ex-improv team member. I don't know if that's true, actually. Is that true? Katie Sicking. Welcome to the program.
Hey, so happy to be here. Yes, ex-improv. I think everyone in New York is, right? Because didn't basically
Everyone
all the theaters closed?
Oh, yeah. No, I said ex-improv team. Were we on an improv team? I don't know if we were.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we were, but it's also hard. Like there's someone else I ran into and I was like, why is their name so familiar? And I looked them up and I was like, oh, we were on an improv team for over a year. But it was like...
I just forgot them.
Yeah. I mean, like it was like back in 2013 and I was like, oh my God, I was like, forever ago. But I was just on so many teams, like in like a 2-year span. It's like, oh, Jesus.
You're very popular. So here's the thing. You guys got to understand this. Katie and I, we know each other. It's like, we're like the kind of friends we like say, oh, like, hi, how are you? And like, but we haven't seen each other in possibly 8 years. We're not sure. I go, hey, well, you knew me when I was still drinking. So that's over 6 years ago. And she goes, you knew me when I was still married. And I was like, oh my God, you're not married.
It's so funny to me that's like, new. I feel like this happened years ago. So it's just so funny that like, there's still people that are like, y'all aren't together. I was married to a very nice guy. We split amicably because we got married when we were children and our brains weren't fully formed.
You're saying children. You were not talking about 13 and 14.
No. We were not literal. I was not a literal child bride, but we were in our 20s and it was just like, we were living together. We both had religious parents and like my parents in particular, like if you're living with a man, you got to get married. And me in my young 20s was like, okay, sure.
Interesting.
But no, we're on great terms. We were actually just texting the other day. He's back in Texas.
Okay.
He moved there, like a year ago.
I think it's very interesting, because, and I want to go into it because I saw this tweet recently that was like, when you get in your 30s, polite breakups are more of a thing. I think that person, she was talking more about dating, but,
right.
We do get more mature with time, men, women, everybody, non-binaries, everybody. But I guess I'm curious, how does that play out? Like, how did the end of it kind of play out? Because I've also sort of felt at certain times like, well, no breakup is truly mutual. So how did this go down?
It was like I think with a lot of things, like it was just a very slow process of being like, oh, like this isn't, oh, we're not like making each other happy. I mean, there was no like dramatic,
really?
We didn't even fight that much. It was just more like, oh, like this isn't right for us. And, we like saw like a mediator. I think that I really recommend that to anyone who's like even in like a really long-term relationship. If you live together, like definitely go see mediator at the end to kind of like help you set up like healthy boundaries and like, working out, all that kind of stuff. Who takes what? I think it really like kind of helped things stay nice and good. But yeah, it wasn't like there was any like a dramatic moment like in the movies where there's like a woman who like, throws a pie vertically into a wall and just like, this is it, I've had enough. Like it was just kind of, but I do think that like I am like glad to have an amiable divorce because I think a lot of people like, you think of like Kramer versus Kramer and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But like, I think in your 30s, it does get easier, especially for people who are in therapy.
But I mean, you're making this sound like y'all like, decided what restaurant to go to at the same time. The restaurant was fuck you forever. How did this play out? Like, were you just sort of like, did you kind of be like, hey, like, I feel like we're not going anywhere. I'm just not that into this anymore. And he was like, yeah, I'm also not into this. Let's split. Was it really that clean?
Yes and no. It's like, I'm also like trying to be like careful to like his
privacy. Sure.
Yeah. I don't want to like,
I love to pry.
Yeah. No. I mean, like the thing is like, I am an open book, but I'm like, I want him to like not feel violated, I mean, it was like just like a series of conversations that we had over the course of a week of like sort of being like, how much change is possible for each of us individually? And like, or are we these people now, these different people that we were when we got together? Yeah. And I think that was like kind of a realization to be like, oh, we were different people when we got together than where we are now. And like, yeah. So like, that's what I mean. Like, it wasn't like, going to say like, they were hard, painful conversations, but like they were, if anything, I feel like we really like put it off for like 2 years. Like, I think we both were like just sort of avoiding.
It's very difficult. And how many years together were you total?
Oh man, I mean a while because we got together before I was drinking age. Jesus, I was 20.
Okay.
And then like almost a decade. So a really long time.
Wow. That's a long
It
time.
is, yeah. And like I think it's also like why like we're able to be amiable and like still keep in touch, even though like we live on different sides of the country. It's just like, I don't know, when you're with someone that long, it's like they do form, it's like you spend a year of your adulthood together. You're sort of like forever, your brains are sort of linked in that way. Like you have like the same like, yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it is just one of those things though too, where like no one is the same at age 20 as they are at age 30.
I hope not. Only terrible people.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you meant something slightly different by change. I mean, I think the other component is, and I'm coming into dating with a little bit of this attitude, is, you know, you
Yeah.
really, like, people do change, but you really can't change them.
Exactly.
That you're pretty much getting what you're getting. You know what I mean? Don't think you're going
Yeah.
to go in there and do any kind of repair work. It's just not going to really happen for you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you got to meet people where they are. And there are no fixer-uppers when it comes to dating. It's just, you know, you got to like.
That's nice, though, that you had this experience and you had a very, you know, I would consider it a successful relationship. And I think that's
Yeah.
controversial in a way, right? But it's like, look, it was a clean break. Y'all still talk. You're good. You learn from it. I consider that a success.
I did think success. Like I honestly like I don't regret it. I think some people may regret like past relationships, but I definitely don't regret it. I feel like it was like we both got a lot out of it. But like, yeah, I it's so funny because literally like just 30 minutes ago I opened up Instagram and I saw two mutual friends of mine had posted on Instagram, "We're happy to announce we're breaking up." And they like literally like had like a little like post about it. I was like, this is so interesting. Like clearly like they had an amiable breakup. They're like,
yeah,
they're still going to host a show together, all this kind of stuff. But it was like, wow, I don't think I'd ever seen anything like that.
I'm intrigued at that aspect because you say, oh, well, they're hosting a show together right after you broke up. I go, are you really is that really going to be a clean break for you? That seems a little toxic to me. So how did you approach kind of no contact or low contact, at least in the sort of wake of the breakup?
Oh, yeah. We only saw each other with a mediator present for like the first 6 months, I think.
So how often were you seeing each other with the mediator?
Oh, like once a week. So like we were, I actually think there's a few times where we got lunch or whatever, but like, I'm trying to remember now. But then after that, then it was just like, oh yeah, like we would like every now and then like go see a movie or something like that just to like catch up. But I think it was important to have that like clean time to just sort of like heal because you got to heal. Like it's like a painful process.
That wasn't confusing for you. See, I don't know. I don't know how clean I find this, but I'm trying to learn. Look, I'm a much I come from a school of thought, my folks endorse this, where you don't fucking look at me. You know what I mean? Like you just, and it's not in a bad way. It's in a way of like, let's get this done. Like I'm not, we need the emotions to really cool out. For me, you go hang out, you see a movie that's going to rekindle the little flame inside you.
Oh, we weren't doing that right away. Yeah, we were not doing that right away. But also, just out of curiosity, what's your longest relationship?
5 years.
Okay. So you've had some length there. Yeah. No, we were not going to see movies immediately after. I mean, like that was over half a year afterwards.
Okay.
We started. Yeah. Because for the first 6 months, we were only seeing each other with a mediator present.
Once a week, mediator.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I highly recommend that for people. For anyone like going through an amicable divorce, like it's great.
That's awesome. That's good to know. I did not do that. I have some guilt about it. I bailed. I knew that it was over and I just wanted to get out of there. And I felt like I was deceiving her. I do have some regrets. I think it really hurt her. I think it was extra hard for her. But she also, you know, she pulled some moves on me that put me in a place where I was like, you know, I'm not going to fuck around. I'm out.
It also depends on the relationship too. You weren't married though, right? You were just living with her?
Just living. Yeah. Just living together.
Although it is like very funny because I feel like it's like, it's basically the same these days. Like there's really,
I think it is.
Yeah. So it is tough, but like, yeah, I think especially if it is more of a fast moving one, then it does make sense to like have that separation, especially if it's like a shock to one person.
Yeah, I mean, I think what really pushed me away ultimately was I said like, you know, I'm only going to talk to you at our mediator, so to speak. It was like a therapist or whatever. And I said, don't contact me otherwise, except in writing. And, you know, she called called me, and I was livid.
Oh,
And
yeah. That's a boundary violation.
I'm happy you recognize that. I didn't actually know. I didn't have a lot of this kind of. I didn't have the terminology at the time. I just knew I was fucking pissed off.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's like, I don't know. I'm such a firm believer in therapy. Like, it
Yeah.
just gives you a tool set for like identifying things that like upset you. Like, if you're like, if there's like times, when I was younger, I'd be upset and I like didn't know why. And then, like, in therapy, like, oh, that's why. Cause, I
Yeah.
felt wronged in this way. And this is what, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta dive in there. You gotta figure out what's going on. I mean, I read a boundaries book. I'm in therapy. It's all key to having successful relationships as time goes on, exploring yourself,
Oh, yeah.
etc.
Yes. Yeah, very important. I mean, like, I feel like it's like, yeah, I can't fathom trying to date in New York right now without a therapist. I feel like there's just, I don't know. I mean, like, I think just also like the past year, like trying to date during a pandemic is just like, what the hell are we doing? Like, this is, like, yeah, people got real extreme early on.
Oh, I did that. I've had two. I've had two quarantine breakups.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
really?
I've been on the roller coasters.
Two of them. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Well, one was a rebound from the 5-year ending, and then the other one was just very fast. But yeah, people we're out here. We're throwing ourselves at people. Some people are. Maybe you're not because you're in therapy. But people are going all in. They're fucking. I mean, I went all in on this first gal, and I fell crazy hard. And I've only said I love you to 2 other women, and I told her I love you,
Oh,
and
wow.
she dumped me 2 days later. So that was a little wake up call.
Oh, 2
2
days.
days
Yeah,
later.
Jesus, that's whew,
Ooh.
that is hard. Yeah, I feel like I'll dip my toe
Mhm.
in, date a little bit, and then as soon as I am like feeling exhausted
Yeah.
by it, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take a few months off, and then I'll come back with fresh faced, ready to like, give me more trauma or
Right,
whatever.
right,
Like I just
right.
feel like I don't know. Like I had an insane dating profile for a while, and I think that also was like why I was meeting insane people.
Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, see, you would be, well, I don't know, 10 years is almost so long where I'd be like, damn, that's kind of like your one relationship. But I would say it's a red flag for me if people I say, what's your longest relationship? 1 year. I'm like, that's not long enough for me.
Oh man, yeah, there are people. I tend to be a very open minded, just because I'm like, meeting people with different backgrounds, different experiences, or whatever. But yeah, I have found that there's been two people that I went on a few dates with who both had never had a girlfriend, like, and they just never been exclusive
Nope,
with
I'm
anyone.
out.
I know, yeah, yeah. And all my friends were like, no, no, they're lifelong fuck boys, get out. And like part of me was like, I don't know, let's just. And I was like, oh yeah, no, now I see. Yeah, I think a lot of it too is just like I've just sent like in the years since I've been single, just like also learning how to date as an adult because I was coming onto that dating scene, a couple of years ago, just completely clueless.
Yeah, it's a wild world out there. I'm taking a break from the apps right now.
That's good.
Because I reached a point where I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I actually had this thought. I was like, I'm just going to send a first message and be like, hey, I'm down to hook up. Otherwise, that's it. And then I was like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. And I want to send that message. And so I was just like, all right, I'm going
Right.
to stop. Because I'm just lazy. I don't want to do the work. I'm very tired.
You burned out. 2 breakups during a pandemic is like during a breakup during a pandemic. It's like you can't do the usual. Like you can't go, get drunk with your friends or like hang out with your friends and like have them be like, cheer you up. You can't like, go to parties. Like it's like you're still stuck in your same apartment during a
Yep.
breakup.
No, I'm a runner now, Katie. That's who I am. I run the pain away, and I ran it all down. There's very little pain left.
That's healthy.
It is healthy.
Just 2 broken feet. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm all messed up. But I'll take physical pain over emotional. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like, I went through a small breakup during the pandemic. It was not like a serious relationship, but it was even that. I was like, dang, like I can't like go to my friends' places. I can't like go to movies. Like it's just like I guess I'll rent a rom-com.
Right.
Like yeah, but it just forced you to like sit with it more, which I guess is healthy. But yeah, I don't blame you for being burned out after 2 breakups during a pandemic. Seems like, that's a lot.
I'm burned out. I don't know what I want. The other thing is I feel like the quality of people on the apps, which is really the only way to meet people, is just, it's very low. It's very low.
See, this is my theory, and I got disagreed with like a few of my friends because I was like, I feel like at this stage of the pandemic, the people who are on the apps, this isn't everyone, obviously. People who are listening, like I'm sure there's a lot of very fine people on there, but the people I'm seeing, I'm like, are we just getting the dregs of society? Like the people who like, and then it's also like, wait a second, does that mean that I'm a dreg? I'm not a dreg.
You're a drag. You're somebody's drag. I'm starting to tell you. We're all a drag to somebody.
Oh boy, aren't we all? But I mean, like, yeah, it is that thing of like, but my friend disagreed with me, and she was like, oh no, but like the only way you can date right now is online. So people who've never been on the apps before are now on the apps. I don't know if I buy that.
I don't buy it. I think the people on there are horrible. I think they're uncivilized. I don't know who these people are. I don't know. I don't know why every girl on Bumble is a vice president at Goldman Sachs. That's a mystery. That is a mystery, but they're not swiping right.
Oh, your algorithm is all screwed up. This happened to me too. I got too like pigeonholed into like Hinge and Bumble, and they're like, oh, you like just this type of guy. And it's like, no, I don't. Right. Why are you, give me some more, options here.
It's like, I want to date someone creative, and I use Hinge the most. I like Hinge. I think the average Hinge profile is just horrible. It's so unfunny. It's so cliched. And then, I'm shallow on top of it. So it's like, there's a lot of filters.
That's the thing. It's like, Hinge has this thing where it sort of like waters down everyone's personality, but then also like it allows like people who are maybe not as interesting to talk to, it kind of like allows them to be a little bit more interesting. But like, oh, so I can't go on Tinder. Tinder was my favorite. That was like where you meet all the crazy people. And I mean crazy in a good way. But I've been banned off Tinder 3 times.
What? Why?
This is before the pandemic. This is like, yeah, I didn't take apps seriously at all before the pandemic. And it really, man, it's come back to bite me in the ass. So in the first time long story short, I was rude to a cop and pretty sure he's the one who reported me because like 15 minutes later I was banned.
Wow.
And then the second time it was that I was not taking it seriously, and that like I had photos of me dressed in a Gritty costume and I was like, I had changed my name to Gritty for a little bit, and like I was just being an idiot, and I got someone reported me for that. I got banned. I will say though, except for the rudeness that I was to that one cop, I was never mean to anyone else. Like I was always kept the joke on me, never them. But and I see like screenshots of other people's like convos, and I'm like, damn, these people are so like cruel to each other. I was never this. I was just an idiot on it, and they banned me.
I say free Katie. Come on, it's ridiculous.
Give me my profile back. The third time, I used my mom's cell phone number to create a new account.
Wow.
I did that when I was like visiting, because I was just like, I was on Hinge and I fucking hated it. I was like, I just want to get back on Tinder. But then I think it must have matched my account with the 2 previously banned accounts. It's like, I only got to be on it for a couple days and then I got banned. So it must have just like clocked.
Wow, you're on the lam from Tinder. That's crazy.
I know. But that was the funnest one because you could really like, people could like just be so insane in their profiles. And I enjoyed that. Like I never met with anyone really in person. Again, I wasn't taking it seriously, but I just enjoyed seeing like the extremes of humanity on that app.
I got nothing on Tinder. I never closed a deal on Tinder. I got nothing. It's trash for me.
That's the thing. It's like a gambling thing, right? Like you just like want all the likes, like all the swipes or whatever. It's just there to boost your self-esteem.
I think it's a very different experience for a woman. Let me tell you, I'm getting nothing on Tinder.
Sure.
It's like gambling at a casino where the odds are 1,000 to 1. It was misery.
Oh, no.
Guys, we got a quick little F for you, but it is actually pretty juicy. We're just going to do one little situation here. AITA, I went home with baby when husband teases me for choosing myself over my baby and would only go back if he swears by his ancestors never to do it again. Not the best title, but rest assured this is a interesting situation.
Interesting, yeah.
I'm a mother of a 5-month-old. I got myself into an accident while pregnant. 3 months in when I got knocked over by a car skidding out of a lane. pain. When I was brought into the hospital, I was panicking with the pain and seeing my own blood. I begged the nurses and doctors to save me no matter what, to prioritize saving me, and I don't care if the baby doesn't make it. It means I get to live. I admit, thinking back, it may have sounded very selfish, but I think it's just me being human. I was still new to the idea of becoming a mother, and I guess maternal instincts have yet to kick in, plus I was not exactly being myself. I was lucky that both of us made it out. Nothing serious was broken, and I made a full recovery. However, it became known among the relatives that I chose my own life over my baby. Nobody really blamed me for what I said, but they do tend to tease me about it. My husband also teases me about me begging the daughters to save me, even after I told him it's not funny and I'm getting tired of it. After my baby's arrival, I found myself getting agitated more easily and warned my husband that he should not mention that incident to my face again. He did stop for some time, maybe a month or two, but he started saying it again last week when I asked him to help me clean up the kitchen because I was tired and forgot about it the previous night. He did clean it up, but then he teased me again about the incident. I snapped. I yelled. I packed my things and went home with the baby while he went to work. He claimed he was just trying to cheer me up and didn't expect that I'd overreact. My father agreed and he wanted me to go home as soon as I got over it. My mother said I can stay as long as I want and she can help out with the baby, but wants me to forgive him, which I said I would if he never mentions that incident again, swear it by his ancestors. This caused an outrage and my husband's family accused me of being disrespectful and crossing the line. My husband has not given me an answer yet, but everyone is telling me off. AITA.
Interesting. Huh. I feel like we're missing some crucial data here.
What do you need? What's missing for you?
I feel like, especially like swears by his ancestors seems so specific. And the fact it caused outrage and her husband's family was outraged by that makes me wonder if she is white.
Yeah, well, I can't speak to the Culver skit. I think there's, I mean, like just based on the title and like you guys got to understand, I'm like kind of converting errors as I say them on the fly here. But yeah, this was definitely, English is not this person's first language. So this is clearly a cultural norm.
Okay.
I don't think it's that difficult to understand. I've certainly heard of the concept of like swearing to God being offensive.
True. Yeah, and like on your dead mother's grave.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that was really where it hit them. And if they've got, these are who's the people who got offended? Yeah, so it's maybe
I just want to see if there's like a culturally insensitive thing there, but it sounds like no. It sounds like
it's a sensitivity, but I don't think it's totally foreign. I mean, I think it's there's something about swearing on someone's grave. I could see people getting touchy about that.
Yeah. Wow. This also, I feel like making fun of someone for begging to stay alive.
Right. Now we're getting to brass tacks because that's where this all started, right? She got in this accident. She's got a 3-month-old inside of her, and she said, kill the baby. I don't care. I'm living. There's no question here. I'm the one who gets to live.
Right. But she didn't say save the baby. She said just prioritize saving me.
Yes.
Which I wonder, isn't that something that like, God, I feel so ignorant of like how medical decisions are made, but like, I feel like that would, then like in the 1950s, I'm sure they would be like, if a woman was, pregnant and came in, they probably would save the baby's life over the woman's life.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but.
No, I mean, this is back when they were given lobotomies. They're like lobotomizing women just left and right in the 50s. Right. Like you just sassed your dad the wrong way, you get lobotomized the next day.
Right.
Like, so I do feel like in the 50s, I could definitely see like saying like, please don't kill me. I can have more babies after this, I promise.
Right. I don't think it's really, there's anything wrong with it. I mean, even from a pro-life perspective, obviously from a pro-choice perspective, like 3 months is kind of the cutoff of, where abortions commonly live. So from a pro-choice perspective, I think that's trivially fine. From a pro-life perspective, though, I would say you might be like, well, damn, isn't she going to run it by him or anything? But even that, I don't think there's much of a case to be made for like what she did was wrong. I don't blame her at all. It's her life. This is not a person. This is essentially like a very undeveloped fetus. And like, I don't think there's anything wrong with her saying that. I think it's very fair. I think anybody would say the same thing,
It's Hmm.
If it was later, I guess I would want her to like, I don't know, maybe have a conversation with her husband in an ideal situation where that's possible rather than just steamroll into like
What would that conversation even look like? Like, hey, would you prefer if I died?
the baby
Oh,
died.
or if you were a single father? You know, I mean, like, it's like, like what is that
Right.
conversation? Like, I would, and I also just feel like, I think the thing that is throwing me is that they are teasing her about it. And that is what I'm like, what? Like, what? I wish I knew what they were saying when they were teasing.
Well, see, the reason I'm stuck on this first portion is because to me, what is the teasing really about? Did she commit any kind of a sin here? And I'm seeing that I don't think she did, but does it play as something a poor mother would do? Because it's kind of like she kind of immediately prioritized herself over the baby. I don't blame her. I think I would do the same thing. I would do the same thing if it was an 8-month-old baby. Absolutely. I'm living. This thing ain't alive. I've been around. I'm staying.
Right.
Seniority, of
Seniority.
course. Well, and also it's personhood, right? Like, and I was talking about this with someone yesterday. Is like, in Canada, the law acknowledges that an infant is not really as much of a person as, an 18-year-old. A mother who kills her infant is not charged with the same
Interesting.
crime as a grown person, which makes sense. It's
Right.
like there is obviously a difference.
Yeah, yeah, no, no. I mean, like, yeah, I don't think that there's even people teasing her. It's like if they're in the same position, would they have actually picked something different? It's like teasing about begging the doctors to save you as a way to cheer up your wife. Like that is like what I'm like. What was it a
Right.
joke? Was he like sort of mocking, being like, "Oh, like please save me, doctor," or whatever? Like what it like? It's interesting to like. Yeah, there's so many sides of this too. Because also part of me is like, man, I mean, I remember, like, I haven't had a baby, but my sister has had 3.
Wow.
And your hormones are fluctuating so much, even in those months after having a baby. Like, there's just, your body is going through a lot. And, like, part of it is like, I wonder if they are like teasing her or if she's interpreting that they're teasing her about that thing that she's already sensitive about. Because it sounds like she has some guilt
I think
about
she
it.
does. I think it makes sense to me that she does too, because it is sort of, I mean, this is why I kind of had to go through it, even though I had the intuition that, of course, there's nothing wrong with it. But it does kind of go at odds with the role of the mother, which is to put the child first, right? The classical situation being a gunman breaks into your house and said, you or the kid, well, you would say me, right? Any responsible parent would say that if that was the situation. If the gunman was like, I'm going to shoot one of you and then leave, who's it going to be? You got to take a bullet for your kid. Of course you do.
Right, but that's like I feel like that is like once the child is like
Yeah.
outside of you.
I wouldn't blame someone if they're like, yeah, my 2-year-old, is a terrible twos. I told the gunman, shoot that motherfucker. I
No.
mean, it's messed up, but like it is kind of like how much of a person has been developed. We all develop our personhood. Like I was a terrible. I honestly, if I was 20 years old and my mother said to the gunman to kill me, I'd be like, that's fair. I was a douchebag.
Yeah, I whined about, not having enough clothes from Hollister,
Yeah,
that kind
yeah.
of
Shoot
thing.
her.
Yeah, but I mean
She
like
thinks she needs to go to Abercrombie. She's fine. Kill her.
I mean, like, yeah, I think like at 3 months, usually like people don't even have a baby name lined up. I could be wrong, but I feel like you don't know what gender it is yet at 3 months.
Right.
Like
Well,
it's just
gender's
sort
a
of this
construct.
amorphous being.
I'm just
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it is amorphous, there's no language. There's like it's a very limited situation. So, but I think she has guilt because there's cognitive dissonance there. She betrayed this baby in a sense. She sees that, she feels that. I think there's a vulnerability anybody can understand. She doesn't want anyone to bring it up, and I think she's made that apparent
Hmm.
repeatedly. It's obviously a sore spot. It's obviously a traumatic spot. She almost died
Yeah.
too. This wasn't like a fun night out. Like she almost died.
So she's been through a lot. And then, oh, here's the other thing, too. She wrote, like, it became known among the relatives that I chose my own life over my baby. Who told
Right.
them? Who ratted her out? Because I bet
Of
it was the
course it
husband.
was. Of course it was.
And that doesn't seem too good. But like, and then yeah, and then oh I bet her hormones are fluctuating. She wrote like after my baby's arrival, I find myself getting agitated more easily, and warned my husband that he will not mention the incident in my face again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he's being
Interesting.
very obtuse and it's really triggering her, which I understand. This is a very serious thing. She's going to have guilt about it. She's going to be paranoid about her own behavior. She's like, "Oh, I did this thing," and everyone's kind of bringing it up and like it wasn't wrong, but it just it can be seen as a violation of the maternal role. And so there's no way that she's going to be able to like transcend that set of cultural expectations and standards.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not a thing that you would want broadcasted about yourself, even though, like, I think we both agree that, like, what she did was not, like, wrong, but it's like a little bit, it doesn't ever put you in a flattering light.
Right.
It's not the noble thing, even though it is the rational thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think in certain circles, I can see how this would be very looked down upon, and that is where the shame component is really hitting her. I think she's feeling shame. You know, for me,
Yeah.
I have friends who'd be like, "Oh, I had my 4th abortion. It was hilarious." I'm like, "Okay, that's maybe a little too forward, but sure, congratulations." Like.
I mean, yeah, even with that, it's like, I mean, I don't think people should feel shame about that kind of stuff, but I do feel like if it's 4 and they're celebrating, I'm like, are you okay? Like, you've been through something. Are you all right?
Right, right. I mean, these are comedians. Who knows? But
yeah.
Sammy M writes, NTA, first at 3 months, there was never a decision to be made between you and the baby. Even if there was, at 3 months, the baby was a tiny mass. I think we agree on that.
Yeah.
2, your reaction is normal. I want you to know that because you sound like you're still dealing with guilt. I think that's what's going on. This is like a guilt shame thing. And that's why it's a trigger point for her. She said, don't bring it up. And he kept bringing it up.
Right. And it's interesting to see when he was bringing it up, because he brought it up after he was annoyed with her. Like, so she was telling him to clean up some mess he made. And so then he turned around and pressed that button.
Yeah, there's something going on there. It's like a control factor. He's got something on her. Cat Ear writes, NTA, jokes for the other person isn't laughing aren't jokes. It's bullying. This is a sensitive topic for you. Your husband and his family bring it up is hurtful and they need to stop. I think you've sent a pretty clear message that they need to stop. So hopefully they respect your request this time. And look, we're seeing the same pattern twice here, right? Because there's the baby incident, everyone in the family knows, and then there's her telling her husband, hey, don't bring this up again, swear on your ancestors you won't. Oh, well, everyone has to know about that too. He's broadcasting. So that he's like in like one of these enmeshed families where everyone tells.
Right. Or at least he's telling everyone everything.
Exactly. I think like he sucks and he's got to shut up and respect his wife and he's got to keep her secrets and like, yeah, he's not really empathizing with like how difficult this is for her.
Yeah. And he's also like he's not owning up to it by saying that he was just trying to cheer her up. That's gaslighting, honestly. I was just trying to cheer you up. I didn't expect you to overreact. That's like what he's saying. Like, but also I'm concerned because her dad took her husband's side, wanted me to go home, quote, as soon as I got over it. Oh,
right. Just get over it. You're just being emotional about the sustained pattern.
Yeah. Not to pathologize too much, but it does seem like, she had a kind of a shitty dad and then she went and got a shitty husband. You know, like patterns, they repeat.
Yeah, I could go there. I think that's a bit of a reach. I see it more. I could go with you on it because I like to play that game, but I just see it more as, look, when it's kind of like you could come in on someone being like, oh, you're an asshole. And then someone's like, what the fuck? Don't call me that. And you're like, dude, come on. He just called you an asshole. But it's like, you don't know the buildup, the emotional buildup that got us there. And so that's what Father's coming into. He's like, come on, whatever. He referenced the thing, whatever. Come on. It's like, what are you so mad about? Relax. So it's like I
just picture him like in a golfing outfit, like just practicing his putts, like in the living room as he's saying it. You know, like, come on, what's the big deal? Get over it.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely that kind of dad. Yeah, I just keep going back to the husband's family now they think that she's being disrespectful and crossing the line. But it's like, what did the husband say? Because clearly they're getting that from the husband. So the husband's like talking shit about his wife to his family.
Yeah, I guess somehow he strung it that she was being disrespectful, which I guess is that the invoking of the swear. I guess it's the swearing on the ancestors that was disrespectful, or maybe it's just the having this reaction.
That's what I want to figure out. Is like, were they upset that she is going to make him swear by that? Yeah, or are they just like, get over it? They're also golfing. They're like, what's the big deal?
Everyone's golfing in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but I don't like it. I mean, I think this is obviously a sensitive topic. It would be a sensitive topic if there was no baby and you were in a freaking car accident and you said something insane. You know, like you're in a car accident and you just say like, I hate my sister. And you're like, remember when you were in a car accident? Like, no, I don't want to remember that, man. I was in a car accident. It was horrible. I don't even think it needs to go that deep. I just think people need to respect that, like he needs to respect this isn't a funny thing for her. It's not a roast thing. And he's not respecting that. And she's doing whatever she can to get him to respect it.
Yeah. I mean, she's like, all all she can do is just communicate how she feels and what she needs
Yep.
emotionally from him. And it seems like she's tried to do that several times.
Absolutely.
It just did not sink in for this guy.
He doesn't get it. He's doing whatever he wants to do. I think we agree AITA for going home with the baby when the husband teased me for choosing myself over my baby, and that she'd only go back if I swore. This is the worst title ever. That's the only reason I could come for OP. I think we could just call it AITA for saying I choose myself over my baby and not wanting to be teased about it. I think we agree. Not the asshole and the husband and his family are.
Yeah.
Katie, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a blast and a half. Tell these people where they can find you.
Oh, great. I do a show for Rizzle. We're also on TikTok called Stupid Music Videos. We do 20 episodes a month. It is insane.
Holy God.
Yeah, check that out. We have guests on. We make music videos with them. It's very fun. What else? I produce. I'm a showrunner for Late Night with Judge Millie with Millie Tamarez. You can check that out on Chris Gethard's network, Planet Scum. Our next show is this Wednesday, the 24th. Will this be out by then or?
No.
Okay. All right. So there's that show, but then there's also one on April 28th. That's our next show. That's Wednesday. And if you're hearing this after that, go check them out. They're online.
Love it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun and great catching up.
Absolutely. Great catching up, and we'll see you guys next time.